Hey, hello. It's funny, I used to do this in early in the day, and it's turned into a late night show. It really has. So, what comes to mind as I go through life and I realize that how much things have changed for me and how much more comfortable I feel in my own skin all the time. Um, I what comes to mind is that what's happened for me is that I've let go of the illusion that I can run the show. What if? What if that's a fact that none of us can actually run the show? I spent some time working with a guy today who lives in terrible fear and actually has to take medication for anxiety all the time. And what's anxiety or fear? It stems from an idea that we can't trust life and that we have to look after ourselves, that we have to manage the show, we have to somehow make life work for us, as if it's not able to do that without our attention. And rather self-centered of us, isn't it? But somehow we've been conditioned into that belief that we can will things to happen, we can make people do what we want, or if we can't make them, we can just sit and be stressed about it. It just doesn't sound like much fun. you know so instead of running away from life because we're afraid, or trying to change circumstance, or or the people in our lives, have you ever tried to change somebody? I mean, really, have you ever tried to change somebody? you know I've been in a couple of relationships actually where um, I mean, with beautiful women who said to me, you have such potential. I love you, and and but they wanted me to change. I remember waking up to to the fact that they didn't actually love me. They didn't even know me, and that was okay. It's most of us don't really know each other, and so we're trying to mold or shape people, or to change them, or to help them, or and we can't even really help anybody. We can encourage them. you know we can listen, and but we can't change anybody. you know People sometimes want to change, and for in my life, I do a lot of work with addicts and alcoholics, and so they're motivated to change because their lifestyle is killing them. you know they've maybe lost a lot of things, their families, and often jobs, and sometimes it can get life threatening, seriously life threatening, and people die around them. So it's they're motivated to change, and that's a little different than when somebody's desperately motivated to change. We can be there with some suggestions of what's worked for us, you know but we can't change anybody. How much time have we wasted in our lives? It seems that we don't have a infinite. Life is kind of a finite thing. We get at 70 or 80 years here, kind of an average, and how much of that time have we spent worrying about the way things were going to turn out, or about people? you know we can't change our children. You ever spend any time trying to change your children, or being so uh, distrusting of life that we're you know managing our kids' lives, interfering? You know, um, it's just or babying them. You know, still mothering or fathering when they're in their 20s and 30s. It's just, it's us not trusting life, living in fear. There's nothing to fear. As a matter of fact, it's quite clear that fear creates what it is that we fear. So it's a luxury we can't afford, like we literally can't afford it. If we think about something enough, we've been taught that we can manifest stuff. I don't know if that's the best idea. Sounds like more fun to let life, set an intention. Like I have an intention. I want to go. I have this thing of that I really see myself in the South Pacific on a 40 to 50-foot sailboat, you know, deep water, blue water sailing. It's a, it's a fantasy of mine, or I'd love to do it, but I'm not like trying to bend the will of the world to that. For me, I just put it out there. Boom, just put it out there, and allow it to happen if it wants to happen. With just holding it really lightly. The same with, I intend to ride my motorcycle this summer to the East Coast, but I'm not attached to it. It's not like it has to happen. Oh my God, what if I don't get to go? None of that. It's like, so to hold things loosely. I used to hold things so tightly that I was stressed. I used to grind my teeth. Have you ever done any of that? So just let go, relax, enjoy life. That's my thought for today. I mean, none of us can really create something. We can set the intention and work towards things and they can happen, but it doesn't have to be stressfully. Yeah, that's all. I just want to share that. Maybe freedom is in surrendering to each moment, saying, okay, I get it. I can just be with what is, life on life's terms. What freedom. What freedom. Watch the crazy mind. What do we want to be free from? The crazy mind. It's not something outside of us that's, affecting us. It's our thinking. So, we pause, when we're agitated or upset or frustrated or fearful. And we just breathe. Just allow life to happen. And we're in it. We're literally in it and we flow in it. And gratitude allows us to be here with experiencing the joy of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes I say thank you like 100 times a day, not for anything in particular, just thank you, because I got to, I don't have to do anything. I'm not talking about the practical. Of course, I still brush my teeth and have a shower. But even that's not that important anymore. Anyway, that's it. Just want to share that with you. I'm going to read a little bit from the Tao Te Ching, because the Tao Te Ching is a beautiful piece. And there's some tremendous words in here. I think we're on chapter 15. Now, these chapters are very, very short, right? They were very short. We're not. We're on chapter 16. But this is 4 paragraphs, okay? Or maybe 3 paragraphs. It's very short. The Tao Te Ching, translated by Stephen Mitchell, originally done by lao-tzu. This is a book. It's amazing. So it's a very short chapter. I'm going to read it. 3 paragraphs. It says, empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king, immersed in the wonder of the Tao. You can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. I love that. Returning to the source is serenity. The source would be now, this moment. So Stephen wrote in the back a little bit of a translation of each paragraph. So let's see what he wrote on chapter 16. He said, empty your mind. This doesn't mean suppress your thoughts, but step back for them. Insights into the Tao has nothing to do with the intellect, and its abstractions. When we step out of self-consciousness, we step into the Tao. Lao-tzu said. The mind is originally empty, and only when it remains empty, without grasping or rejecting, can it respond to natural things, without prejudice. It should be like a river. No, it should be like a river gorge, with a swan flying overhead. The river has no desire to retain the swan, yet the swan's passage is traced by its shadow, without any omission. Another example, a mirror will reflect all things perfectly, whether they are beautiful or ugly. It never refuses to show a thing, nor does it retain the thing after it's gone. The mind should be as open as that. See, when we have no judgment, we can really be present in each moment. Does this sound anti-intellectual? But listen to Einstein. The scientist's religious feeling takes the form of a rapturous amusement at the harmony of natural law, which reveals an intelligence of such superiority that, in comparison with it, all the systematic thinking of beings is an utter insignificant reflection. This feeling is the guiding principle of his life and work. This feeling is the guiding principle of his life and work. So I think he quoted Einstein. Anyway, I suggest you get this one, the Tao Te Ching. It's just beautiful. If you desire to live free of fear and anger and confusion and guilt and shame and judgment and complaint, if you desire to live in the present moment, this book is one of those books. So I'm not reading it as a teacher, I'm reading it as a student. And this is chapter 16, there's 81. And you can find this in YouTube, on my YouTube channel. And if you want to listen to the past ones, they're there for you to see, there for you to read. So love you so much. Thank you for joining tonight. I know it's late. Ashramful Alam says it's all in the mind. Yes. We can be here, empty, really. It's beautiful. That's where the bliss is. That's where the joy is. Okay. Love you guys. That's it. Thanks.